What is up, everyone? To start this video off, I have two quick things I'm gonna say. First off, I'm not gonna say the placements of the albums in this ranking. Like, I'm not gonna, oh, this is the 48th album on this ranking. This is the 30th one. This is the one at number 15 because for the most part, I actually really like most of these albums because like bad albums don't stick around very long. They're not like songs. Usually the Billboard 200 is filled with pretty decent stuff, so I don't want to make the ones near the bottom of the ranking sound bad because they're not bad. They're fine. And second of all, I did not listen to this one because it is 4 discs long. It's a compilation album, meaning none of this is original music. They've all been already released, and also uh, it's probably gonna drop one next week anyway, so I don't care. All right, to start the ranking, there was only one terrible album on this list, and that is Her Loss by Drake and 21 Savage. Imagine being so popular and putting out music this bad. Next up, we have they're not the best, but uh, I could I could see why one would like it. They're just not my favorite. So we're gonna start off with My Turn by Lil Baby. I have no idea how this is still around. It is long, so I guess there are some bangers, but there's just so much filler and trash on it. Next up, Certified Lover Boy by Drake. I don't need to talk about this one, do I? Uh, the Spanish people, I think, no, the Spanish speaking people, I think they're Mexican. Fuerza Regida? Did I get that right? Of course I didn't, but I can't understand it and it's way too long, just not for me. Next up, we have Scarlet by Doja Cat. There's a lot of controversy online about Doja Cat, and she plays right into it. I'm not that interested in that online stuff. Kevin Gates debuts this week. This is only here off the debut. It is. I can't believe people still listen to Kevin Gates. I don't know why people do that actually. Reputation by Taylor Swift is next. How did it rise 3 spots? I really think this is dated. Like, I cannot believe people are still listening to this in 2024. Uh, where are we going next? We're actually going to Sour by Olivia Rodrigo. I've never thought this album is good, the greatest, the coolest, because she's not the best singer, she's not the best songwriter, and there's a lot of bad stuff on this album. Uh, and that, okay, well, like I still hate this album more than most people because I've never been a big fan of the big singles, but a lot of people are, so hot take. Next up, Nostalgia by Rod Wave, just the worst Rod Wave album. It's still close to decent because Rod Wave is always just close to decent. Next up, Tate McRae, not the best pop album. Fantano actually just gave it a not good. He is wilding for that, but it's not that bad. And then Pink Friday 2 is the final, not the greatest album here. It's once again way too long. It's trend chasing. Some artists are throwing away a lot of originality just to appeal to TikTok, and I do not like that. But now we're on to the ones I was mostly neutral on. The like you should still check them out, but it really is not high priority. Starting that off, we are going to go to For All the Dogs by Drake. It's the most consistent thing he's put out in a long time, but that's still not saying much. Uh, where is this next one? It's This One's For You, Luke Combs. I don't know who this one's for because it is pretty much just bland country pop. He's improved a lot since this album, but I don't know why people are still listening to this one at all. Where's the next one? We're going to Genesis by Peso Pluma. It's another album where there's some good stuff on it, but there's also a lot of bad stuff, so it kind of just mostly balances out. Next up, Bad Bunny. I still have no idea why you would throw away a style you sound so good inside. He sounded great in reggaeton. He threw it away just to go to trap music. Why would you do that? It's still okay. Next up, where is it? It's up here. Lover by Taylor Swift is number 7. Why? Oh my god. Next up, the number 1 One Thing at a Time by Morgan Wallen. It is so bloated. It is 2 hours long, but there's still some okay stuff. Just shorten it down a little bit, and it's fine. But it's not shortened down. It's way too long, so mostly neutral on it. Next up, Stick Season by Noah Khan. It's another album. So much great stuff. A lot of filler. Guts by Olivia Rodrigo. Big step up from Sour. I'm still not the biggest fan of it, but it had some really great stuff on it. That's why I'm a much bigger fan of this one than Sour. Uh, Take Care by Drake leads us into the next category. These are good albums. I enjoy these music things, but still, I can't put them top tier because I have to make room for stuff that is better. So that's unfortunate. But anyways, Take Care by Drake. I'm not sure why people chose this one as the best Drake album. Like, not best Drake album, but the Drake album that like is withstanding the test of time the best. I'm not sure why, but yeah, it's good. Lyrical Lemonade off of the debut. It's basically like a DJ Khaled album. You'll love it like me just because while a lot of famous people on the same album, you might hate it because none of these famous people have much chemistry with each other and the production isn't the greatest, but I like it. Uh, Another Spanish one from Bad Bunny. This one is the reggaeton one, and he sounds really good in it. But once again, it is 80 minutes long. Just cut it down a bit, and it'll be way better. Kali Uchis. This is the third ranking I've done, and I still haven't searched up how to pronounce her name. But all right, she's here. Uh, where are we going next? Where is it? Red, Taylor's version by Taylor Swift. It's another album where there's a lot of good stuff, but there's no bad stuff this time. There's just a bunch of mid stuff. So mid stuff, good stuff, average that out, that's positive. 1989, another Taylor Swift album. Once again, as I've said for the past few rankings, just listen to the original instead. And now we're into the next category of albums. These ones are not just good, they are very good. I really enjoy these ones. Like, they are a blast and you really should check them out. I recommend them. Starting off with, of course, we can all agree that the Barbie soundtrack is very good. Next up is Dangerous, the double album by Morgan Wallen, sneaking back into the top 10. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's not nearly as bloated as One Thing at a Time, and it also has way better highlights. So a big step up. Or it's not a step up because they're released first. This one is a step down, I guess. Next up, Teddy Swims. I can't believe people listen to him outside of that one big hit, Lose Control. But he's actually a pretty good artist because he has a good voice and he puts it to good use. Next up. What album? Oh, American Dream. Like, I wrote in my notes it's American Dream, but I couldn't remember who made that album. Yeah, it was 21 Savage who made it. Yeah, good trap stuff. Next up, Folklore by Taylor Swift. Not my I'm gonna talk a bit more about this later. And then we're going into a compilation album from Queen. Queen is not my favorite. It's a little too over the top for me, but yeah, it's fun stuff. And then Starboy by The Weeknd is also in this. Starboy by The Weeknd will be the final album that has a lot of great singles, but a bunch of filler as well. But obviously, out of all those albums that are a pretty mixed bag, I had to put The Weeknd at the top because bias. Metro Boomin with Heroes and Villains. He gets the good features. Like, when people show up on a Metro Boomin project, they put the effort in and it pays off. Bailey Zimmerman all the way up here on the ranking. I actually really enjoyed this guy's music. When I was listening to his singles hit the charts one by one back in 2022, 2022. I was loving each one of them. I actually really regret not putting like all of them into my top 100 year end list. Next up, we're going to SOS by SZA. This was my number one pick for when I did that top 10 ranking. And oh, I guess I'll just say the place. And now it's number 15 now. So there were 14 better ones when I now that I've extended it to the top 50, but still good stuff. I'll talk more about SZA later on. Next up, Creedence Clearwater Revival with their uh compilation album. I'm not the biggest fan of their music, but I can completely understand why they are this popular and why they're still here after not just the 679 weeks on chart, but they were like a group from the 70s or 80s or something. Yeah. I'd actually never heard of them before doing this ranking, but I can see it now. I see the vision. It's there. Now we've got Post Malone with the Diamond Collection. You know, he's been making some of the best hits of the past decade. He deserves to flex that he's got 8 certified diamond songs because he's a cool guy. Now we've got the next category of albums. These ones are great. Like, not just really good. Before we had really good albums, now we're at the great albums. These are like special, or how do I explain it? Like, these, they're just better than the ones before. I don't know how to explain it. But we're gonna start that off with SZA Control. She's got such a beautiful voice and she makes such great R&B music with it. Now we're into Midnights by Taylor Swift. I still think this is one of her best albums, even though barely anybody else agrees. Now we're into Luke Combs is getting old. He's got some of the best production in the mainstream country game. He's got such a nice voice and he's just really fun to listen to. Now we're at Travis Scott with Utopia. He is way more experimental than any of the other rap albums on this list, and it really paid off because this is a special rap album, and I can't believe it got snubbed at the Grammys. Or I can't believe that because the Grammys would always do that, but still, it's still a little sad to see. If there was one album I wanted to win a Grammy, probably Utopia. Now into the greatest hits album compilation from Elton John. Like, am I just supposed to not have this here? Well, I guess I can have another hot take, but I don't want to have a hot take. I really think Elton John is that good. Now we're at Evermore from Taylor Swift, one of my favorite albums from her. I think she is a great songwriter and she can really sell the folk vibes of this project. Now we are going on to American Heartbreak by Zach Bryan. This album is bloated, yes, but Zach Bryan is a different kind of bloated than all of the other bloated albums I mentioned before because Zach Bryan can write a good song in his sleep. So it's bloated because it's got way too many good songs. There are it was like 30 tracks, and they're shorten it down, you will get a phenomenal album with just pure greatness, but as it is, it's like half greatness, half very good. So, awesome stuff. And now I'll go into the individual rankings. Now we're at the top 5. Number 5, off the debut, The Smile comes in with Wall of Eyes. This had a bunch of famous people from really famous bands, very critically acclaimed bands. These people have been making good music, not good music, great music, phenomenal music, like game-changing music for the past few decades, and they're on the same project. How could you guess that I love this album? Next up, we've got Zach Bryan with his self-titled Do I Need to Explain It? Come on, it's Zach Bryan. I've been like simping, standing, fanboying all over him for the past like 2 years with my mainstream series. And number 3, we're going to Speak Now, Taylor's version. Is it my favorite album from Taylor Swift? No, because that goes to the original Speak Now, but this album is still like the peak of her career. Uh, Number two, it's Eminem with the curtain call hits. It's got stuff like Lose Yourself, Without Me, The Real Slim Shady. Come on, it's all of the biggest bangers from Eminem. But while a ton of it is phenomenal, it's just not as consistent as the number one best album in this top 50 right now. It's Fleetwood Mac with Rumors. And that is the end of this video. It probably went way longer than I expected. Oh, only 15 minutes? Or that's not that bad. Maybe somebody will watch it all the way through. Who knows?